Hey, strategic wealth preservation investors, this is your quarterly report on metals. We are going to take a look at gold, silver, platinum, and palladium on the monthly charts along with the US dollar so you can see where things are headed, the trends, the patterns that are setting up, and what you should expect over the next few months as these markets mature. So let's jump right into the charts and get started. This is the monthly chart of gold going all the way back to 1997. And more or less, the market has made a series of, it's been in a super cycle to the upside, but it has been making a series of new bull markets and then some bear markets, bull markets, bear markets. And where do we stand within these? Now, if we look at this overall market, there's a few ways to look at it. There was a bear market base down over here. And eventually when it broke out of there, we started to see it run up, had a series of bull flags, and then we went into the 2008 credit crisis where it formed another bear market phase where it consolidated, eventually broke out, created the second run, and then it went into this massive, huge bear market phase. And then eventually it broke out of that and has started to run up to where it is now. So that is kind of, those are the three different bear markets that we've seen in gold. And I'm going to show you kind of where we stand and what to expect going forward from here. Now, if we take a look at the price action, we have got a series of bull flags. Now, this rally up here and this bull flag pattern, which is a very bullish pattern, is pointing to much higher prices. It's actually pointing to $2,600 for gold over the next 1 to 2 years going forward. So that's where that chart pattern is forming. Now, this chart pattern we've seen happen time again. It happens on smaller time frames, larger time frames, but more or less we had a bull flag here and it resolved to the upside. We had a bigger bull flag here, resolved to the upside. If we go back in time, eventually when we broke out of this bull market, we saw a series of bull flags. We saw a bull flag form here. We had another bull flag here. This was a bear market, but it ended up forming a bull flag there. It had a little bit of a pullback in here. These are very small, high momentum bull flags that are happening through here. You don't really see them so much on the monthly chart. It just looks like a red bar and then a continuation. But we have a series of these bull flags. And of course, this here was a major run up and a major bull flag that was forming. And now this one ended up resolving to the downside and then went dormant for several years. Now we are kind of breaking through this previous high. It's eating through resistance, kind of trying to get some momentum. And again, this chart pattern, if I was to use a Fibonacci extension tool, which I find is the most accurate, most powerful way to figure out where the next upside targets are, we take the low, we take the high, and then we'll grab this previous low. And if we were to carry this forward and look forward in time, it's going to show us where we are headed for gold. Now at this point, based on the current price, the first upside target is going to be this 618. Now this is typically where price will surge to going forward. And if it pauses and pulls back at that level, we almost always go up to that 100% measured move. So we're looking at around a 25% increase in gold, probably over the next 6 months, 8 months or so. And then there's the upside potential of it running about 45% to the upside going forward. So that gives you an idea of where gold is headed. And when you look at this pattern, especially when you look at the bottom of this chart here, you can see all the years. Each one of these vertical lines is a year. And so really it rallied for 1, 2 years roughly from the low. So 1, 2, and now we've kind of put in what looks to be a bottom. I think we're starting a new upswing here, so we're going to have a 1, 2. So we're still looking that this could take a long time to play out. These are huge patterns that each bar is 1 month. So we're still looking at a slow grind to the upside, but obviously the trend is up here, very strong bullish pattern, and it's pointing to about a 45% upside move. Now, a big part of what's going on with gold, I think, is going to be the US dollar. Let's just pull up the US dollar real quick. And if you take a look at the US dollar index, this is the monthly chart. And what we're looking at here is we've got this very strong pivot line on the chart. If I was to just draw a line across here, this is a very significant pivot line. When you're above it, the dollar is very strong. When you're below it, it's going to act as resistance. And right now we're above it. We kind of bounced off this level. We've bounced off this level, and we've had this strong bounce on the monthly chart here over the last month, and that's what's cause that sharp pullback in metals that we've seen recently. Now, overall, the dollar could end up bouncing and going a little bit higher, but overall, I think the big run in precious metals is going to happen when the dollar actually breaks below this red line and then starts to collapse. And I think there's potential for it to go all the way down, potentially down to the 75 level again. There's going to be several levels of support in here, pretty much right across here, this 85. It's a breakout level. It's been tagged a couple times with some trading through it. It's a clear pivot level. And then we're going to have this 80 level as well. Pretty much every 5-cent increment is where prices either got close to or it's traded through it. You can see it bounced off here, traded through here. There's a lot of kind of pivots through here. A lot of volume just trading through here in general. It comes down and finds that level. So there's going to be these stair-stepping action in what we're going to see happening with the dollar. But really, for metals to have their huge explosion to the upside, I think the dollar does have to break this level. And we're just not there yet. I think we're still got a few months of the dollar holding up, trying to hold this ground, and eventually I do think we will see that fade away. All right, so now let's take a quick look over at silver. If we look at the monthly silver chart, we've got kind of a similar pattern. Silver definitely more volatile, a little more of different types of patterns. Very strong surges and strong drops. Silver's tougher to trade. It's a more volatile investment. It just makes it hard for a lot of people to hold through. But overall, when we look at the pattern, silver has had very much so the same type of thing where it was stuck in this bear market phase, just like gold. Eventually, it popped and it created a series of pauses. It did have a bear market phase through here again when it eventually corrected and then blew off to the upside, had this massive run, which eventually it broke to the downside, and then it's gone dormant and kind of just been falling ever since. We've saw a breakout in silver over the last year or so, and now we got this strong bull flag pattern here, this kind of pennant formation that is pointing to dramatically higher prices. Both gold and silver tend to rally at the same time, not always in sync. Sometimes silver is a little bit lagged, but if we grab a Fibonacci tool, we can get an upside target of where silver should go based on this momentum. And you can see the two next upside targets for silver. And silver's popped much quicker. Gold took a couple years to do it. Silver really popped in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So silver can kind of be dormant and then suddenly just pop and play complete catch up with gold. Now overall, we've got some pretty good upside targets based on where silver is right now. We're looking at a 25% upside move in silver, which would bring us to $33.25 an ounce. And then we've got an upside target all the way up here of around 52%, and that will bring us to around the $40.23 per ounce silver. So those are the upside moves. Silver could be very explosive. We could see this happen a lot quicker, but keep in mind it's also much more volatile. If this market for some reason does break down, we're going to see gold and silver correct quite a bit from where they are still. Silver's got potential to drop down to around the $24 an ounce and still be considered bullish. So there's still another 8% or so drop, and this could play out and trade sideways for several months or potentially even a year before it pops. And we never know how long the market is going to consolidate before it breaks out. But the pattern here is pointing to dramatically higher prices. A quick look back at the gold chart, just so you can see where we are. There is potential that gold could come all the way down, believe it or not, to around the $1,600 per ounce level, and that would still be bullish, and it'd still point to higher prices. So there is that threat that the US dollar index continues to climb. It puts more pressure on metals, kind of shakes a lot of people out of the metals market, gets them nervous, and then we could see things reverse. The dollar collapses, metals start to rocket higher and go forward. But overall, long-term picture is still to the upside. Let's take a look over at platinum real quick. Platinum's been pretty dormant. It's really kind of the most recent breakout across here. And it had a pop and a breakout early this year. It's pulling back, and it's really very actually similar to, there was a breakout over here to a new bull market. And it kind of did the same type of thing. It broke out, had a quick pullback, which is usually called a kiss goodbye. It breaks out, gives it a kiss goodbye, and then price starts to take off. So that's what we're kind of letting this market do. Again, metals are moving into a bull market phase. I think we're entering a new super cycle for commodities where I think we've got a 3 to 5 year upside window in metals. I'm showing you the first profit targets of where where the price is likely to go. I think they can go way beyond that, but I'm keeping things realistic and not looking forward that far because a lot can change in the next year or two. So there's no point of getting excited about stuff that's just way out of reach at this point still. You're best to take it one quarter at a time, one bar at a time, and reanalyze as you go. So overall, I like platinum. It's testing this breakout zone. I think there's potential for it to continue to work itself higher going forward as well. Now, last but not least, let's take a look over at Palladium, which most people don't follow Palladium. And the markets always have a way of the one that people aren't paying attention to is the one that takes off. And Palladium has gone absolutely ballistic from roughly 450 all the way up to 3,000. A lot of people miss this move just because people aren't that interested. People want gold and silver, and platinum is kind of a stretch for most people. Palladium is definitely out there, and of course, that's why it took off. It's always what you're not thinking of is what really takes off. So I do feel like it's starting to get a little bit overdone to the upside when we look at this type of price action. When something goes parabolic and you get these sharp, huge rallies with a massive correction, and then it comes up and pushes back up and corrects again. I think we're coming into what I call as 3 surges to a high, where the market goes ballistic. You get a surge, you get a sharp drop, you get another surge to a nominal new high, another drop, and then you get a blow off top, and then it fizzles out and then goes dormant for a long time. And I feel like we are into that phase. We've got kind of, I think, 1, and then I think we got 2, and potentially we see maybe another push here, but then I think it's going to fizzle out of favor, potentially come back down to the $1,500 mark or so. So most people aren't really into Palladium anyway, but I do think it's kind of done to the upside, and it's had its time to shine. I think the majority of the gains are now gone, and really we're looking at platinum, silver, and gold for the next kind of big run in precious metals. Now that's about it in terms of the metals markets. Now I just want to touch on one other interesting thing here. There's a new program that I'm working on with kids, and it's going to be the first real world game and educational platform focused on creating your dream lifestyle in business to make money online. And this is for students, young kids at the age of 8 and up. The reality is 72% of kids are entrepreneurs and they want to own their own business, which is really amazing, but no one caters and teaches this in school. A lot of home schools are focusing on this now, and we're building this platform that's going to teach kids to do what they love, whatever passion or hobby it is, whether it's baking dog cookies and selling cookies online for local pickup, or helping kids game, or whatever it could be. It could be sharing all kinds of information, experiences. We're helping kids learn how to build web pages, how to build traffic and presence online, and how to make money. And the goal here is for kids to be making more money than their teachers, their professor, or their parents by the time they graduate from school. It is a really cool grassroots movement. It's called the Early Start Program. We're going to be launching this in August. And if you want to learn more about it and get your kids involved or just help spread the word, you can opt in here and follow us as we kind of launch this program. We've added gamification to this strategy, where we have taken steps, turned them into levels, fun games. There's rewards, there's challenges, there's all kinds of great things going on where kids are having a blast learning and building their own business, and their parents can help them as well. This is for parents, including parents, because we've got programs that start all the way from kids grade 8, age of 8, and they can literally build a website within 60 minutes and have their own mini business. And then we have a platform that goes all the way up to build an 8-figure business, which is one of the businesses we built with this platform. So huge potential here, and you can share it, opt in, you can share it with your friends, share it on social. Would really appreciate your help. We're trying to create a movement and help students, kids get an early start on education and business, so when they come out of school, they come out ready to go for this world, because really the reality is something like 80% of jobs in 2030 haven't even been invented yet, and it's all about kids learning to become creative, build solutions, come up with ideas, and help the world with their ideas and build a business around it. So anyways, that's your strategic wealth preservation quarterly report on the markets. My name is Chris Vermeulen from thetechnicaltraders.com. Take care. Bye-bye.